Hey there, Capricorn. Welcome to your reading for the week of May 26th. You have this card that says the time is now. I feel like you get this card every time now. It says it's time to act now without hesitation, move past the old and move forward. You have this metamorphosis card. It says your inner self is being renewed day by day so new and better ways can come forth. You've been changing for a long time. And so, it's time to be like the new Capricorn. And I feel that's what some of you could be working on here, is like stepping into your, new self, or whatever you want to call it. And obviously, that would be a good thing. You have the Five of Swords, Three of Swords, and the Two of Swords. The first row is a little bit challenging, right? The Five of Swords can represent walking away from something, cutting something out. The Three of Swords and the Five of Swords can be a heartbreak. I kind of feel for some of you, this could be like a past heartbreak that you're healing or letting go of. This could also just be that something like hasn't worked out for you with the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is kind of an interesting card. It is considered to be a challenging card, but it's not necessarily bad. He is walking away the winner, the guy at the front of the card. So this first row is going to represent your current general energies, by the way. He's walking away with his head held high, and he is kind of like the winner, like I said, in the situation that he's in. But, there has been some losses. He has experienced some challenges along the way. The rest of your reading looks really good, so I wouldn't worry too much about, this first row. But definitely you could be thinking about, past losses, past things that didn't work out in all areas of your life. And, I just think you're kind of thinking about it, going through it. There's really not much to say. You have the Three of Swords. Definitely with the Five of Swords, I think healing would be a good thing for you to practice this week. The Three of Swords can be a heartbreak, but those three swords are in your own heart. So the Three of Swords says you have to remove those swords from your heart and you have to heal. And so the Three of Swords, basically, we can do this through forgiveness or through letting something go. We don't have to forgive a person directly. We just have to forgive them in our heart, and then we will be set free. And that's what I would do with the Three of Swords, is just, forgive in your heart and basically move on. And I feel if you do that, then things will go very well for you. You have the Two of Swords. Two of Swords is kind of like trying to protect your heart after you have been hurt, right? She has these swords over her heart, and she is trying to protect her heart. She also has this blindfold on. The blindfolds in the tarot represent needing to trust your intuition. The Two of Swords basically can say that, if you let your guard down, really there is nothing to worry about because you have your intuition, right? So maybe it's time for you to open back up, or to open up to the world, and to more, like, I think this is what you should be doing, is Nine of Cups. Like, these two are kind of like the opposite. She's just sitting here, worrying about every little thing that's going on around her, and she feels like she's stuck. This guy here, he practices expansion. He is, kind of sitting in the energy of what he wants. So he is focusing exactly on what he wants, not on what he doesn't want. And by doing that, he is getting what he wants. So you have to be in the energy of what you want to be with the Nine of Cups to get the thing that you want. And I think that would be a good practice for you as well. The Two of Swords also can say it's time to open up to other solutions. She is my card of third place solutions. And so she's only thinking of like two solutions to whatever she's doing, but there's that new island behind her, and that new island, could be a third place solution or something, a different way of doing things in her life. With the Five of Swords, you have the King of Cups. Yeah, definitely time to tap into your emotions. King of Cups is about exploring your emotions on a very deep level. Like, how do you feel about things? The thing about the King of Cups is he is sitting in these choppy waters, but he is perfectly fine. And you have the Six of Swords in this reading as well. Six of Swords is about going through the choppy waters. So if you are thinking about doing something in your life, or, taking a risk or putting yourself out there right now, it might be a good time for you to do that. And it might be a good time for you to, tap into your emotions, or really think about how you feel about like what you want your life to look like, especially with the Nine of Cups, right? The Nine of Cups is a card of fulfillment and wish fulfillment, but, part of manifestation is your feelings, your emotions, and being in a positive emotional state. With the Three of Swords, you have the Page of Cups. I mean, this could be new love that makes you forget about past love as well. So, maybe some of you are thinking about stepping into a new connection. And if you are, I would definitely say make sure you're healed from the past, or make sure you do things to heal from the past, because if you do that, things will go well. With the Two of Swords, you have the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles is planting seeds in a direction. So with the Six of Pentacles, we have to start putting our energy into a better direction in life, and then we have to pay attention to what grows and what doesn't grow. And if we do that, then again, we will be successful. But again, the trick with the Six of Pentacles is to double down on what's working in your life and to continue to double down on what's working in your life. And if you do that, you will be more successful, like I said. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this King card. It says authority and diplomacy. You have this Earth card. It says utilize logic, reason, and common sense. It's funny that you start with the Two of Wands, because the story of the Two of Wands is that he has built his castle, but he was kind of like disappointed because he just rushed to the finish line. He didn't enjoy the journey. And he is also looking out into the world, and he might be thinking about building a new castle, building something new in his life, or starting a new journey, or working on something different. And so I feel it would be a good time for you, if you're thinking about building something new or doing something new, it would probably be a good time for that with the Two of Wands to start working on building something new in your life, and this could bring you a lot of authority. You have the Two of Wands, the Nine of Cups, and the Six of Swords. Again, Two of Wands is about leaving a comfort zone. He needs to get out into the world and have new experiences, which I think would be amazing for Capricorn. I think definitely Capricorns have to get out of hermit mode, basically, and, go explore the world. This is also a card of progress. I think you want to make more progress. It's kind of weird. You have that Two of Swords and the Six of Pentacles. I think you have a lot of ideas that really would lead to progress. But I think the challenge maybe is actually getting started on those ideas, putting those ideas into action. So, for whatever reason, the Two of Wands doesn't necessarily represent ideas, but I feel like the card in your reading is saying you need to trust your ideas more. You need to trust the things that are popping into your head more, because the ideas are probably much better than you think, or at least the outcomes or, the things that could happen will be much better than you think with this Two of Wands energy. You have the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is about wish fulfillment. Like I said, with the Nine of Cups, we have to be in the energy of the thing that we want to be before we can have it. So it's a great card for matching energy and kind of like bossing up in that way. And so if there are things that you want, all you have to do is match the habits, the beliefs. You just have to, kind of step into the energy of what you want, and you will get it. But I definitely feel there could be some sort of wish that's coming in for you this week, or you are getting something that you wish for, and it's definitely going to be something that is going to lead to a lot of fulfillment. So there could be fulfillment coming in for you as well. You have the Six of Swords. Six of Swords, of course, is moving on to calmer shores. So this is a card of heading towards improvements. I always say the Six of Swords is a little bit tricky, and definitely, I think it's tricky for Capricorn. With Pluto and Capricorn, you were all, building things, and now you're being asked to let go of some of those things that you have built in your life. And you're being asked to kind of create your masterwork, or your final masterpiece, right, in life. And I think that is the challenge with, Pluto having moved into Aquarius. Now, this will be very good for you if you do it. It will lead to a lot of success. But I think letting go of what was is a little bit of a challenge. The Six of Swords is a good card. Again, they're moving on to calmer shores. They're heading towards improvements. But, this woman and the child in the boat, they have nothing on them but the clothing on their back. And they are completely releasing the past. So a lot of you are being asked to release things that maybe you don't want to release, or maybe you're afraid to release. But, again, I think the Six of Swords is kind of encouraging you to maybe release some things that you're afraid to release. Yes, with the Two of Wands, you have the Ten of Pentacles. You will have it all, is what this card says, if you do the work, right? Two of Wands, he has that world in his hand. I always say he's looking out here at the world. He's not looking at the world that is in his hands. So the Two of Pentacles is kind of like saying you will have it all. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to do the work. But, Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in your life. It forms the tree of life on this card. You're going to have to put the work in, but again, if you do that, if you put the work in to, create whatever you're trying to create here, I think things will go very well for you here, Capricorn. And I would definitely be putting the work in, like I said. The Ten of Pentacles, the other thing that's popping into my head here, Capricorn, is that there's an alternative meaning to the Ten of Pentacles, which the Ten of Pentacles can represent hidden or secret information. It basically can represent learning something from an unlikely source. So you never know where you might get answers to whatever you're looking for answers on. And the Two of Pentacles says, just tell your brain you're looking for answers, and you might be surprised at what you discover with that energy. With the Nine of Cups, you have the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is about being spoiled for choice, so there could be a lot of options coming in for you at this time, or you could be kind of a little bit spoiled for choice at this time. With the Seven of Cups, I kind of feel good about this. Normally, I'm not the biggest fan. I like the Seven of Cups, but sometimes I think there are good things and bad things in these cups, and sometimes I think he is just dreaming too much and he's not taking action. He's just thinking of the good things and bad things that could happen, and he's not finding out. But I kind of feel really good about this for you, Cap. I feel like you are being given a lot of options. There are multiple different ways that you can accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, and it's you're seeing those options. And so this kind of feels like vision to me. That's how this card is popping into my head, is that your vision is expanding, or you are broadening your horizons, which is allowing you to see other ways of accomplishing your goals. And yeah, I feel really good about that. With the Six of Swords, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, basically the same thing. The thing about the Two of Swords is that she has choppy waters behind her to get to this island right here. So it's you've been trying to make a decision to go across the choppy waters, and with the Six of Swords and then the Seven of Pentacles, it's you're making your move. Seven of Pentacles can be a change in direction, and he's looking at those Seven Pentacles and he's saying, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth it for me to keep working on these Seven Pentacles, or is there something better or different that I could be doing with my time? So I think a lot of you could be making some changes or moving in new directions with the Seven of Pentacles. It kind of looks like to me that some of you are finally making up your mind here with this reading. And so if you've been going back and forth on whether you should get that job or start that career, start that business, or start that thing, it's you're finally making up your mind, is what I feel. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this card that says sweet results await, and you also have this elephant spirit that says learn from the past. You have learned from the past. This is one of those things, though, Capricorn. It's if you hit your thumb with a hammer one too many times, you're going to be afraid of hammers in the future, right? You're going to be a little bit nervous around a hammer. But really, I think what you need to realize is that whatever the hammer is for you in your life, you have learned. You have learned what to look out for. You have learned what to avoid. You've probably learned that you shouldn't be putting your thumb on the top of the nail when you hit it, right? So, it's kind of that's what I feel here, is that you have actually learned how to avoid the pain. And so there's nothing to fear in whatever change you're about to make. You have the Four of Pentacles, Death card, and Two of Pentacles. Again, this is the area of the reading that represents messages from your future self. The Four of Pentacles can represent holding on too tightly to the past. So like I said, I think you have to let the fear of the hammer go here in your life so that you can have a better life. Four of Pentacles isn't necessarily bad, but it could say that you are limiting yourself by being in a comfort zone. And sometimes we have to leave a comfort zone to get something better with the Four of Pentacles. He's afraid that if he lets go of those Four of Pentacles, that he's never going to have any pentacles again. But really, that's not true. He will have his pentacles. So I feel this is kind of about needing to not hold on to something. I always say that this is my card of holding on to something that is limiting you, holding on to a situation that is maybe preventing a great deal of success that you could be having. So I would definitely, make sure that you're letting go of things that no longer serve you. You have this Death card. Death card can represent a transformation or a change, of course, happening in your life. And one thing I will say is that, number one, everyone has had the Tower except for you this week. Number two, a lot of people have had the Death card this week, so it seems to be a change week. It's kind of weird because I thought that this week would be very positive, for everyone, right? So I'm wrong sometimes. It's not that this week is negative. I just think that this week has maybe had more challenges than I expected. We have this new moon on the 26th, on Monday. And the new moon is actually very positive. So, I kind of thought this week would be more like very positive as far as the readings are concerned. But really, there have been some challenges for people to overcome. And, it kind of makes sense, I guess, because, really, I think that we are clearing a lot of clutter, and I do think the summer will be very positive, although I could be wrong. One thing I will say about the summer is I think on a global scale, it will continue to be very fiery, but, I think on a personal level, things could start going well for people, or better. At least people could be making improvements, which is good. But, everybody's had the death card, and, I think that there could be, or almost everybody, and there could just be a lot of change that's happening. We could be releasing things that no longer serve us, stepping into new energies, doing new things, and all that would be good. You have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles can be juggling, it can be spinning plates, it can be doing too much. One thing I will say is with the Seven of Cups, it could say that you are, kind of spinning in your head too much, or you're trying to make too many decisions, or you're trying to do too much at once. And the Two of Pentacles, like, work hard, play hard. But one thing I will say to Capricorn, if I were a Capricorn, and I basically am, I have every planet and its mother is in Capricorn. I have a bunch of asteroids in Capricorn as well. Is what I would say is that, I would like pick one thing and make it happen. I think that is very important advice for Capricorn. It's like, imagine, I think that the past 20 years for Capricorn are like you have been in college from the universe, but it's like you have taken like a cooking class, you've taken a woodworking class, you've taken a life class, you've taken psychology, you've taken photography. It's like you've taken all these classes. Imagine that's what you've been through. And now the universe is like saying, now you need to make up your mind. What do you want to be when you grow up? I don't think anyone ever truly knows. But, I think now is the time to like pick one thing and make it happen. Because if you do, you will make it happen. Plain and simple. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the King of Wands. Yeah, being brave, right? With the Four of Pentacles, having the boldness, the braveness. If I don't even think that's a word, but being brave enough to walk away from things that no longer serve you is what the King of Wands wants you to do. I also think you need to trust your foresight. The King of Wands, something that people forget about him is that he is very innovative. He has like the gift of foresight. He can kind of see things before they happen in some ways, or he can, he's good at catching on to trends, for example, of success. And I feel you really need to kind of like listen to that, that inner knowingness of knowing like, oh, this could work or that could work or, whatever. And so I would pay attention to that. With the Death card, you have the Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands can represent carrying a heavy burden, of course. But the Ten of Wands says you need to release the burdens that are holding you back. And, so I kind of feel bad about this card in your reading. In life, there are some obligations that will get us ahead. And there are other obligations that might not belong to us. And I feel like this card is saying that you need to really look at the things that you are obligated to do. And you need to decide, like, is this actually me or is this someone else's responsibility? And I think doing that will kind of like lighten the load and make the week a little bit easier for you, Capricorn. With the Two of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Wands. You need more fun, for sure. Definitely. The Two of Pentacles, again, is work hard, play hard. But sometimes I feel with the Two of Pentacles that it's kind of saying that we need to enjoy ourselves more, or we need to do more fun things more, or have more fun in life. And, that obviously that's what I would do with the Knight of Wands. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Abundance card and this Boundaries card. So I think that you are kind of creating abundance in your life. You have the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles, like I said, says you can have it all if you kind of make it happen. We are in a time of boundaries, so I think we definitely have to set boundaries with people who get in our way or create burdens with the Ten of Wands. You have the Knight of Wands, the Nine of Swords, and the Four of Cups, all in the good stuff. The Knight of Wands is like a happy-go-lucky type of energy, and that's kind of what I get for you, Capricorn. I think you could be getting back to like a more happy-go-lucky energy where, things might not be perfect, but, I think you are feeling happier, feeling more joyful. The Knight of Wands, he follows his enthusiasm and his optimism. Like, he does the things in his life that make him feel optimistic and enthusiastic. That's what he focuses on. So I feel that focusing on those things will be very important for you and will probably lead to a lot more success. So I would be focusing on optimism and enthusiasm, right? You have the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is like a never-ending nightmare, but it's coming up in the good stuff, so obviously it would say that if there is some sort of nightmare in your life, or if there is a cycle that keeps repeating, this is what you're letting go of. I kind of feel that Capricorn has spiritual PTSD. It's like you have been through a lot of challenges over the past years, and now it's like almost like you are still living as if these things are going to happen, but they're not. So I think you need to focus, be more like future focused or present focused, whatever you prefer. And you need to get out of your head with like the worries, the concerns, the doubts. It's coming up in the good stuff. So I feel like you are, but still. You have the Four of Cups. Four of Cups is normally a card of, again, contemplation and apathy or disappointments. He's getting an offer into his life, but he's not accepting it because he is worried that it's going to hurt him. But coming up in the good stuff, this would say that you probably are going to be accepting an offer into your life that is going to be very good for you. So I really like that Four of Cups, really. With the Page of Wands, you have the Fool. The Fool is about taking a leap of faith in a direction. You have that. You've had this card with me like 10 times. The card that says it's time to act now. I shuffle these decks at the beginning of my day before I start my readings, and it's crazy that you keep getting that. So it's definitely time to take some sort of risk or take a leap of faith. I think that part of the Fool is that people can call us foolish with the Fool. We could be doing something where people are like, oh, that's dangerous or that's scary that you're going to make that change in your life. But really, the whole point of the Fool is that we have to take the risk of looking foolish to get anywhere. So don't be afraid of taking risk. With the Nine of Swords, you have the Six of Wands. Yes, victory. Love it. The Six of Wands, he's been to war, and he's coming back from war, and he's being celebrated for a victory. The Nine of Swords would definitely be like a battle. So I feel a lot of you are overcoming that Nine of Swords energy, anything that's been repeating in your life. I also feel if you've been working hard on something, this could be like an accomplishment or an achievement based off of what you're working on. This right here, this wreath, always reminds me of the world. And, the world is also an accomplishment or an achievement, but the world also represents closing out a cycle. The Nine of Swords is definitely a cycle that you are wanting to close. Oh, you cannot make it up. With the Four of Cups, you have the world. So there you go. Like I said, I think a lot of you are closing out like a negative cycle or some sort of challenging cycle that you've been dealing with for a long time. And obviously, that is going to be a good thing. Next, you have this Mountain Road card. It says you're on the road to success. Yeah, really, it's only your first row that's like a challenge, right? So you definitely could be creating more success, or you could be more focused on building more success in your life, and obviously that would be a good thing. So I think you could be becoming more successful as we move forward here, or it's like you're on the road to success. You have this V card. It says victory in some endeavor. So definitely could be a big victory coming in for you at this time. Or if you're like trying to have a win, you could be creating some sort of win at this time, which would be great with the V card. But the Six of Wands is definitely a victory. I kind of feel that for the most part that Capricorn really is creating a victory over themselves. It's almost like you are... It's almost like that you have that Metamorphosis card at the beginning. It says your inner self is being renewed day by day, so new and better ways can come forth. I feel like you are conquering yourself, which is great with this energy. You have this Yoke card. It says feeling tied down or frustrated. This is how you have been feeling. I feel like you need to realize this energy has passed. The time is new, and you can do things that maybe you couldn't do in the past. You have this Ear card. It says good news. Yeah, definitely could be some good news coming in for you at this time, or you could just be receiving good news. I'm getting like approval on this card as well. So if you're like hoping to be approved for something, or if you're hoping to get approval, definitely could be approval. You have this Mice card. It says discord among family or friends. I don't really think this is a big deal. I think this is the Fool card. I feel like there are things that you want to do that maybe other people are telling you is crazy or is stupid or whatever, and I would just do it anyway here, Capricorn, because I think that you know what to do at this time. But pretty simple reading, really. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.